Fauci's
loves
a big
them.
fan.
Yeah.
These guys, they really got it figured out.
Yeah, they're amazing. The great WHO. When Trump pulled out of the WHO, it was the worst thing ever. He is a terrible person.
He's a murderer.
There's no way that any decent person would ever pull out of the WHO because it's full of people like this. So last year, there was an investigation from the Thomas Reuters Foundation along with the New Humanitarian, and it found 50 women who accused aid workers, some of them who worked for the WHO, of sexual misconduct. And so that launched another probe that was an independent commission that was formed, and those findings came out last Tuesday, and they found a separate incident, completely unrelated to these other 50 women. 83 aid workers were involved in a sex scandal during the Ebola crisis, or a Ebola crisis that was occurring in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And at least 21 of those aid workers were employed by the WHO. That was confirmed by Reuters. So a member of the commission, his name was Malik Coulibaly, he said, quote, "The review team has established that the presumed victims were promised jobs in exchange for sexual relations or in order to keep their jobs." So they're exploiting employment and saying, in order to get employment or keep employment, you must have sex with us. And that's basically...
It's a casting couch. It's the Weinstein.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what
the
they're
Weinstein
doing.
move.
Yeah.
And this is a, like you said, an organization that's supposed to be focused on public health. It's in the name. And so, to make matters worse, 29 of these women, according to Reuters, became pregnant because the perpetrators refused to use birth control. And some of them, it didn't name a number, but it said some said that they were forced to have unwanted abortions of those children after they became pregnant. So obviously, just some really disturbing stuff. My question to you guys, the first one I want to pose is, conservatives, I feel like, have already had a pretty low opinion of the WHO. The people who are left who listen to the WHO are leftists. Do you think that a scandal like this will further damage their credibility, or will it not have really much of an effect?
I mean, I generally have a problem with big organizations like this, and the U.S. being part of them. Like, I don't think the U.S. should be part of the UN, because the UN has people that sit on the Human Rights Council that are, they
give clitorectomies.
Yes, exactly.
Or at least have.
Yes. And we shouldn't support WHO. One of the first things Biden did was rejoin the WHO. I hope this damages their credibility, but I don't think it will. I think it'll be swept under the rug. And this will go on, and it'll continue, and there will be absolutely zero consequences. People that engage in globalism, people that are globalists, like the people that run the WHO, get away with everything. There are never consequences for these people. They will do it over and over and over again, and leaders like Joe Biden will enable it to happen over and over again. I don't think this will change anything.
Yeah, because they're IGOs, intergovernmental organizations. I said NGOs earlier; they're IGOs. There's no actual oversight. There's no larger thing watching them. It's like the same reason there's no accountability for the UN, because there's no larger thing watching it. The only thing out there that could impose any kind of accountability on either of those organizations is the United States. But of course, up until Trump, we have had a feckless group of leaders, Democrat and Republican, who refused to touch those things. The closest we had was George W. Bush, and he dealt with the UN fairly strongly, but he was trying to get authorizations of force and those things. Coalition build and those things. This is perhaps the least surprising news to me ever. Anytime I hear international organization and Africa, it's like it's followed by rape. The UN has a history of sending in peacemakers or peacekeepers, and one of their primary means of keeping the peace is, I guess, fear of rape. I don't know.
I guess that's...
And I think part of the problem is they use local troops to do this, and so you've got all of this, there are massive cultural issues where, well, if you want to, feminists act like, and leftists act like America has the worst track record with women possible. No.
Baffling.
Go travel around the United States. Travel outside of the U.S., travel outside of Europe and see what you think about that. I've been to the Middle East. I've been to China. I've been to the Emirates. I've been to Saudi Arabia. I've been to China. You want to see women treated poorly? Look in those places. You want to see women treated horribly, horrifically? Go to Africa. The fact of the matter is that the U.S., the West, has led in human rights, in the advancement of human rights and women's rights, largely because of Christianity. And, of course, the West and Christianity are the things most under attack by the left. But the wholesale rape and violence from IGOs like the UN and the WHO, that's not surprising to me.
Yeah. One more quick question that I wanted to add is kind of on the hypocrisy of the WHO. The Director General, whose name is Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, I think that's how you say it, something like that.
Let's just call him Teddy.
Teddy.
Okay.
So Teddy, he's trying to take the high ground, as you know, WHO usually does. Not on this specific issue, but throughout the response to the COVID-19 pandemic, he was talking about how important poor countries are. Just this Friday, he said, quote, "High-income countries who are vaccinating their population significantly are starting to see COVID-19 as if it's not their problem. That is dangerous. When they see that the problem is not affecting us anymore, meaning the rest of the world will be ignored, if there is one word that can explain it, it's greed." So yeah.
Well, let's take our billions in international aid and go home.
So America is greedy because we
invented
the vaccine.
We invented the vaccine.
But we won't produce enough of it to give to every single country that ever existed.
Now you could take the Sinopharm vaccine. You could take that, but there are some nasty potential side effects from that sucker. Western ran a piece on that a week or two ago. People who opted for Sinovac and Sinopharm instead of is Astra's the British one, isn't it?
Yeah, AstraZeneca.
Yeah. Or J&J or Pfizer or whoever else. The ones who opted for Sinopharm. There were some nasty results for some of those people.